Hey everybody, I wanted to make another video as a follow-up to the one I did yesterday, advising you to ignore the clickbait that you're seeing on YouTube and ignore all the noise you're seeing in the news media. Flip this camera around and show you $200 billion wiped off of cryptocurrency markets in the last 24 hours. Bitcoin plummets by the most since March as stronger dollar and investor serves. Yeah, so this is the kind of thing that you can expect to see now that the institutions are involved, right? Institutions like to create this kind of noise to make people scared and sell their Bitcoin because they want to be buyers. Anyways, let's look at this. From the highs to the lows, we have sold off by about 27%. And going back to that news article, yeah, that is the sharpest sell-off we have seen since March, technically, but just look at how bullish it's been. You know, this was a liquidity crisis here. People were selling their Bitcoin because they just lost their jobs. Of course, it's going to sell off. I think the fact that it hasn't sold off this much since then is actually a good thing. All right, don't let that scare you. In fact, it's actually quite normal to see pullbacks like this in the Bitcoin market. If we just scroll back to what we saw in 2017, we had a few big pullbacks like this. All right, this is 2017. Down here, we saw a 40% pullback. Here we saw a 30% pullback, and here a 23% pullback. All right, this is normal for Bitcoin. Now Bitcoin is a little different because there are more big players entering the space. For example, this headline, this is kind of old news at this point, but I just want to show you this in case you haven't seen it. Square is buying up 50 million Bitcoin back in October. Grayscale bought 240 million. PayPal, 70% of all the newly mined Bitcoin was purchased. MicroStrategy, 650 million. And we also recently had this where US regulators say that banks can use stablecoins and connect to blockchains. This is indication of further deregulation happening in the crypto space. This is a very good sign. This means that adoption of cryptocurrencies is increasing. Okay? So yes, I stand by my statements since yesterday to not sell, just be strong. And in fact, this is when you should be buying more because this is where institutions are buying. I was actually watching this. I was watching this sell off very closely and I was seeing very big orders being filled. Look at this big wick down. This was bought up very quickly. This movement happened very fast. And same with this one. Very sharp moves back to the upside because there were really big buy orders sitting there. The institutions like to be buying when there is selling pressure because if they try to buy like 1,000 Bitcoins when the price is already going up, they're going to move the market so much that it's going to diminish their returns. The big institutions want to be buying when there's a lot of selling pressure because the retail investors are selling their Bitcoins and the big institutions are just happily buying those up without seeing very much movement in the market. If you drop down to the low time frames, you can see that. But we're buying Bitcoin because all of the macro indications are telling us that it's a good investment. Bitcoin is a hedge against inflation, and we're seeing a lot of that this year. 30% of the dollars in circulation were printed in 2020, and there's no reason they're going to be slowing down this year. We're going to see more stimulus and even more quantitative easing. I don't see any of this slowing down. This is going to continue to devalue the dollar. And that's what's been providing so much fuel for Bitcoin over these last couple months. It's the fact that we've had, I'm going to zoom out here to the daily chart. It's this right here. This is the value of the US dollar compared to the other currencies. This is the DXY. As you can see, that does not look good. That is money printing, that is devaluation of the dollar, and that has been helping to pump Bitcoin. So, of course, there's going to be some kind of bounce, which is what we're seeing here the last couple days. The dollar is actually bouncing, which means the dollar is strengthening against everything else, including Bitcoin. And then you have that coupled with the articles that you're seeing in the news And that just prompts what we call weak hands, retail investors, people that are new to crypto, right? They may not be used to seeing this volatility, and they might be getting scared and just selling everything. That's what causes all of this selling. And that's exactly what the big institutions want you to do. All right, so I'm just going to say it again. Stay strong. You got to have strong hands. Buy a vice grip. Strengthen those hands so they're not as likely to hit the sell button. All right, just buy more. That's exactly what I'm doing. I've actually been buying this whole way down, and I'm going to continue buying. In fact, if we go down by about 50%, I'm probably just going to go all in, because that's how confident I am about Bitcoin. As Dollar Bill would say, I am not uncertain. All right, that's all for me. Until the next video, take care.